All right, I'm here with Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. Brian, you're a busy guy. I mean, thanks for giving us a few minutes. We appreciate it.
Of course.
So you've had the great opportunity of meeting twice with President Trump. You met him before the election, you met him after. How serious is he about a strategic Bitcoin reserve?
Well, I didn't talk to him about that specifically, but I think he is excited about it. I mean, he really wants to be the first Bitcoin president. Cynthia Lummis in the Senate is actually, I think, the one driving this legislation around a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and I think it's a good idea. The U.S. actually has reserves in lots of things: gold, oil, I think like 27 different rare minerals like palladium and all these things. And so, I think the world is moving to a Bitcoin standard for money. They absolutely should hold. Any government who holds gold should also hold Bitcoin as reserve.
I'm sure we could do a 2-hour podcast on the mechanics of a Bitcoin reserve, but for the average folks out there trading crypto, what does that look like? And is there a probability that you could place on this actually happening?
Well, I think for the average person in Bitcoin, I mean, if the US gets a strategic Bitcoin reserve, probably the rest of the G20 will follow, or many of them. And that's just, that's going to drive the Bitcoin prices way up. So there's a lot of positive drivers of that. I think we have an opportunity to get regulatory clarity in this new administration. The Bitcoin ETFs are seeing, record adoption. They've kind of broken all the records for ETF inflows. We're seeing payments really start to take off with stablecoins. It grew 300% year over year. Did about $30 trillion of payment stablecoin volume last year. So it's pretty exciting, and I think that this is all like just positive news for Bitcoin adoption.
I remember I last talked to you, or I caught up with you at the Goldman conference in 2023, and you still saw Bitcoin prices going to a couple million. But I mean, fast forward today, I mean, there's a lot more, I guess things are about to loosen up regulation-wise. Do you see higher prices than that?
Well, I think you say loosen up regulation-wise. We actually, well, it's a strange thing because we actually don't think there was much clarity in a lot of the rules over the last 4 years, which was actually weaponized by the Biden administration and Gary Gensler, who's really attacked the industry. We actually have been calling and petitioning for more clear rules. So in some ways, we actually want to be regulated even more. And that's what's going to allow trust to exist in the system, consumers to be protected, and more capital to flow in. And the good news is that in this new administration, the Trump administration, I think he's really pushing every department in the government in the US to move toward getting regulatory clarity.
And of course, lastly, I encourage everyone to check out Brian's blog. Just dropped it on economic prosperity. Last one for you, Brian. What made you write that, and how does crypto tie into economic prosperity?
Yeah, well, the mission of Coinbase is actually to increase economic freedom in the world. A lot of people don't know exactly what that is. There's many types of freedom of speech and assembly and religion. Economic freedom is one of these foundational principles, which is really that can you actually keep what belongs to you? Can you benefit, if you're going to work really hard, try to do something good for the world, can you keep the upside of your labor? Or is your wealth being eroded through inflation or confiscation or corruption and bribery, or being debanked in many cases, which actually happened in the US and Canada. And so we believe that crypto is this unique technology that can actually enable economic freedom in countries all over the world. It's returning the world to sound money. It's creating property rights for anybody, which means if you have a self-custodial wallet, you can remember the passphrase to it. You can take your wealth with you, even if the government wants to take it, or if you need to go to cross-border, or you're a Syrian refugee. And so crypto is really fundamental to having more economic freedom, and we think that is foundational to all prosperity.
All right, we'll let you get to your fireside chat here at the World Economic Forum. You're an in-demand guy. Appreciate you making some time for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.